You know, every single day we send our most personal information flying through the air. Things like passwords, emails, banking details. But have you ever stopped to think about what's actually stopping someone from just plucking it out of thin air? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible security that protects your wireless world.
Yeah, it's something we do all the time without a second thought, right? At home, in a cafe, at the airport, we just connect. We trust that our digital lives are private. So what is that secret shield, really? Is it just the password, or is there something more going on? Let's find out.
Okay, so to really get the solution, you've got to understand the problem first. And it all starts with a basic difference between plugging in a cable and using Wi-Fi. A wired network, that's like a closed pipe. You have to physically get to it to tap in. But a wireless network, well, that's a broadcast. It's basically yelling your data into a crowded room, and anyone within earshot or signal range can potentially listen in.
And because everything is just being broadcast out there in the open, it creates this perfect playground for a whole bunch of digital threats. And look, these aren't just theoretical boogeymen. These are active risks that security protocols are fighting off every single second you're connected.
So each of these threats kind of exploits that open broadcast in its own nasty way. An attacker can set up a fake free cafe Wi-Fi hotspot, tricking you into connecting directly to their laptop. That's malicious association. They can even electronically impersonate your laptop on the network. But one of the most clever and frankly scary attacks is the man in the middle.
So let's break that one down. In a perfect world, your connection is just a private conversation, right? It's between your device and the Wi-Fi router.
Just like this. Simple, clean, a straight line of data from point A to point B.
But remember, that conversation is happening out in the open air, and a clever attacker can stick themselves right in the middle of it, and you would have absolutely no idea it's happening.
And this shows you just how dangerous it is. The attacker isn't just listening in, they've become the new middleman. They get your data, they can read it, they can even change it, and then they pass it along. So you think you're securely logging into your bank, but you're actually just handing your password directly to a thief.
And just when you thought it was sketchy enough at a coffee shop, the problem gets way more complex the second we walk out the door with our phones. Because now the threats aren't just in the air around us, they're literally in our pockets.
This quote from our source material really just nails the modern challenge. You know, the old idea of a secure fortress, like our protected office or home network, that's basically gone. Our data, our apps, our work, it's all mobile now, which means our security has to be mobile too.
And that mobility brings this whole cascade of new risks. I mean, unlike a desktop computer locked away in an office, our phones can be physically stolen. We're constantly connecting them to random, untrusted public networks. We download apps from all over the place, and we click on links and scan QR codes that could lead us anywhere. Every single one of those is another door we're opening for trouble.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty terrifying, right? How does the internet even work at all if it's this dangerous? Well, thankfully, some very smart engineers developed a brilliant solution, a complex, multi-step process that acts like a digital secret handshake to secure the airwaves. Now, this secret handshake has a fancy official name, the Robust Security Network. You don't need to remember that. What you do need to know are its modern versions, which you've definitely seen in your settings, WPA2 and the newer WPA3. These are the security standards that are the backbone of safe Wi-Fi today. And here's the really cool part, how that secret handshake actually works. It's so much more than just you typing in a password. Before a single piece of your actual data gets sent, your device and the router first find each other. Then they authenticate. That's where they prove they are who they say they are. Then, and this is the magic trick, they work together to create a brand new, single-use secret key just for this one session. And only then do they start sending your data, all of it scrambled with that key.
So what's the end result of all that? Well, it means that even though your data is flying through the open air, it's actually inside a private, armored, and totally encrypted tunnel. That eavesdropper trying to be the man in the middle, they can't get in. They might see the tunnel, but they have no way of seeing what's inside.
Okay, understanding the theory is great, but what does this actually mean for you? How do we apply it? Because this powerful handshake is only as strong as we make it. So let's go through a practical checklist you can use to make sure your own network is locked down tight. All right, let's get practical. First off, using modern WPA2 or WPA3 encryption, that's totally non-negotiable. But you know where some of the biggest security holes come from? Simple laziness. Not changing the default admin password on your router, or leaving the network name as linksys.
Hackers literally have lists of these defaults. Taking just a few extra steps, like hiding your network's name or only letting specific family devices connect, makes you a much, much harder target.
So at the end of the day, the technology we have is incredibly powerful. That secret handshake is designed to stop all those threats we talked about dead in their tracks. But security is always a partnership between good tech and good habits. I mean, the strongest digital lock in the world won't help if you leave the password written on a sticky note next to it. So the real question is, now that you know how the lock works, are you using it wisely? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.